At narito naman ang mainit na balita mula sa mundo ng politika. Isang controversial na balita ang bumangon mula sa Malacanang. Ayon sa mga ulat, parehong nadawit sa isang issue sina First Lady Liza Smuggs at House Speaker Martin Tambalos Romualdez kaugnay sa pagpapasa ng resignation letter ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. sa mga miyembro ng kanyang gabinete. Nasa sentro ng isyong ito ang kanilang papel sa isang matinding internal na usapin at administrasyon ng Pangulo. Ayon sa mga pagkakatiwalang sources, ang pagpapasa ng resignation letter ng Pangulo ay may kinalaman sa hindi pagkakasunduan at ilang issue sa pamamahalan ng mga nakakataas na opisyal sa gobyerno. Isang hindi inaasang hakbang ito mula sa Pangulo na dati-rati ay kilala sa kanyang pagiging matatag sa kabila ng mga hamon. Kasama ng kanyang resignation letter, may mga ulat na tinukoy na ng Pangulo ang ilang pangalan na may kaugnayan sa mga isyu ng hindi pagkakasunduan at pagkabigo sa pamumuno. Sa mga impormasyong nakuha ang ating mga reporters, kabilang sa mga pinangalanan si First Lady Liza Smuggs at House Speaker Martin Tambalos Romualdez. Ayon sa ilang insider, itinuturing nilang itong isang hakbang upang protektahan ang integridad ng Administrasyong Pangulong Marcos. May mga nagsasabi na ang pangalan ni Marcos at Romualdez ay binanggit sa mga hindi pagkakaunawaan sa loob ng gobyerno na nagudyok sa Pangulo ng pagsagawa ng ganitong hakbang. Samantala, nagbigay na ng reaksyon si First Lady Liza Smuggs at House Speaker Tambalos sa mga aligasyong ipinupukol sa kanila. Sa isang pahayag, nilinaw ni Romualdez na wala siyang kinalaman sa anumang sabwatan laban sa Pangulo at itinatanggi niya ang anumang uri ng hindi pagkakasunduan na maaaring magdulot ng isyu sa kanilang mga tungkulin. Dagdag pa ni Romualdez, ang kanilang layunin ay tanging mapabuti ang kalagayan ng bansa at magtulungan upang makamit ang mga layunin ng administrasyon. Samantala, sa kabilang banda, si First Lady Liza Smuggs ay nagbigay din ng pahayag na nagsasabing walang intensyong maging sanhi ng kaguluhan sa loob ng administrasyon. Ayon sa kanya, ang mga aligasyon ay bahagi ng isang malisosyong pag-atake upang maghasik ng hindi pagkakaunawaan sa mga miyembro ng pamilya Marcos. Binanggit din ni First Lady na hindi siya nakialam sa mga desisyon ni Pangulong Marcos kaugnay ng mga hakbang na ito at tanging ang kapakanan ng bansa ang kanyang inaalang-alang. Sa ngayon, patuloy ang investigasyon at hindi pa matiyak kung magpapatunay ang pag-resignation letter na isinumite ni Pangulong Marcos. Inaasahan ng higit pang mga pahayag mula sa Malacanang at mga kasamahan sa gobyerno ukol sa isyong ito. Samantala, maraming mga eksperto ang nagsasabi ang pangyayaring ito ay isang indikasyon ng masalimuot na usapin sa loob ng administrasyon. Tinututukan din ng buong bansa ang magiging epekto nito sa kalagayan ng politika sa bansa. At heto nga mga balita ang ating pagkakatutukan. At kung bago ka pa lamang sa aking channel, ay huwag kakalimutang mag-like, share, and subscribe para updated ka sa aming mga bagong balita dito sa Tatak Pinas.
Sa mga premiums na natatanggap. Kaya nga po, merong budget na nanggagaling sa gobyernong nasyonal dahil ang ating kalusugan hindi dapat nakabase lamang sa premiums sa mga members. At ngayon nga po, maski hindi nagbabayad ng premiums, lahat ng Pilipino ay members. At yung pera na ibinalik, yan nga po yung paglalaanan para bayaran yung membership ng mga Pilipino na hindi kaya magbayad ng membership dues para karagdagang pondo nga ng PhilHealth. At ang ideya dyan, habang mas maraming pondo ang pumapasok sa PhilHealth, dahil nga merong provision dyan na dapat igastos lamang sa benepisyo ng mga miyembro o pagbababa ng premiums, ay ang contribution na tinatawag, makikinabang talaga ang mga sambayan ng Pilipino sa lahat ng pera na dumaan sa PhilHealth. Pero ngayon po, ibinalik. At mukhang dahil ibinalik siya, pwede pang magamit din sa Maharlika Fund. At ang aking narinig talaga, gagamitin nila yan sa Maharlika Fund gaya ng ginamit nila ng pondo ng Land Bank at saka ng DBP. So sana naman po, na-realize nila na iba talaga anyo ng PhilHealth. Hindi po niya mandato na kumita ng pera para sa gobyerno. Ang mandato niya, gastusin ang lahat ng pera niya para sa kalusugan ng mga mamamayang Pilipino. Alam nyo, kaya nga tayo nagkaroon ng universal healthcare dahil ang pinaka-importanting kapital ng Pilipinas para lumago ekonomiya, ang kanyang populasyon. At paano naman magiging contributors sa ekonomiya ang taong bayan kung di sila makapagtrabaho dahil mayroong silang mga karamdaman? So dapat isipin natin lahat ng pondo na ginagastos natin para sa universal healthcare, gaya ng pondo para sa libreng tuition sa state universities, yan po ay investment in our population. Dahil ang importanteng kontribusyon o contributor sa ating ekonomiya ang ating populasyon. Yung mga ibang bansa po na malalaki ng ekonomiya nila, na napakababa ng birth rates nila, talagang nag-iinganyo sila ng mga migrants dahil na-realize nila, abay, ang pinaka-importante pala sa lahat ng assets sa ekonomiya ay ang tao. Tayo, ang dami nating tao, so wag po natin ipagkait kapag tayo po'y namuhunan sa ating mga kababayan. At yung kalusugan po ay pamumuhunan, gaya ng edukasyon, sa ating mga kababayan. Well, tama naman po yan dahil alam naman natin na bagamat ang ginagamit nila ay mga ordinaryong krimen, panunupil pa rin ang kanilang pakay. So, pansinin niyo po, wala naman pong kinakasuhan ng ordinaryong krimen nakakampi ng gobyerno. Puro kritiko ng gobyerno. So, maging critical po tayo, maging masig po tayo. At syempre, huwag niyong kakalimutan po na sa ating saligang batas, lahat po ng inaakusuhan nila ng mga ordinaryong krimen, mga karumal-dumal na krimen, presumed innocent until proven otherwise. Napakadali pong magparatang. Pero nasan po ang ebidensya? Dapat tanungin ng taong bayan bago natin tuluyang payagan na masira ang pagkatao ng mga kritiko, ahan ang ebidensya. Alam mo, alam ko SMNI tayo. At tayo po ay kabahagi ng KOJC na mission. At normally, hindi dapat natin gamitin yung ating sariling plataforma para depensahan tayo, no? Pero kakaiba po ang sitwasyon ngayon. Matindi na po talaga ang panunupil at pang-aapi sa KOJC, sa SMNI, at kay Pastor Kibuloy. Bakit po? Lumabas po ang freeze order laban sa mga ari-arian ni Pastor Kibuloy ng KOJC na isang simbahan at SMNI na isang media company. Okay, ilabas na natin yung mga ari-arian ni Pastor Kibuloy kung meron man. Dahil ang alam ko, wala naman siyang ari-arian. Lahat yan ay nasa pangalan ng simbahan. Bakit mo i-freeze ang assets ng isang simbahan? Yan po'y labag sa karapatan ng malayang pananampalataya. Dahil ang corporation soul po, ang mga simbahan, hindi nga po yan binubuwisan. Dahil yan po ay pananampalataya. So, ang pag-freeze ng ari-arian ng isang simbahan, yan po'y paglabag din sa karapatan ng malayang pananampalataya. Dahil saan ngayon kukuha ng panweldo sa mga ministro? Saan po kukuha ng pambayad ng kuryente sa kanilang mga simbahan? Pambayad ng tubig sa kanilang mga simbahan? Kung i-freeze ang ari-arian ng isang simbahan. Hindi po na nangyayari yan. Naiisip nyo ba na may posibilidad na dahil sa gawain ng isang pare, ang pera ng Archbishop of Manila ay i-freeze ng AMLAC? Imposible po yan. At kaya nga po sinasabi ko, grabe na po ang panunupil. Ano bang kinatatakot nyo? Bakit pati SMNI na isang media company? Paano may involve sa human trafficking ang isang media company? Nagko-cover po ng balita. At itong ginawa nila na ipinrease nilang ang assets ng SMNI, paano ngayon mapapasweldohan ng mga reporters? Paano magkaka-ere miski sa internet na lang? Hindi ba ho talagang panunupil din ito sa kalayaan ng malayang pamamahayag? Sobra-sobra na po ang nangyayari. Lahat na lang ng kritiko, binabato ng kung ano-ano at ginagamit ang mga batas na dapat ginagamit sa mga ordinaryo, mga kriminal. At least harapin ninyo na nanunupil kayo ng mga kalaban. Gaya ng ginawa ni Marcos Sr. Walang kaduda-duda. Arrest, search and seizure order laban sa mga subversibo. Kinikilala na kalabang politikal. Bakit hindi nyo man lang maamin na ang sinusupil nyo ay mga kalabang politikal? Bakit nyo pa sila ginagawang kriminal? Na wala namang kaebidensya. Yung ebidensyang sinasabi nyo, matagal lang binasura, binuhay. At kaya nga po, hindi nyo kami masisisi na sabihin, yan ay politically motivated. Pwede ba naman yon? Na ang piskal ng Davao, binasura. Ang DOJ, hindi ipinansin. Tapos ang naging kalaban, ang Pastor Kibuloy, nabuhay at nagkaroon ng kaso. Pero ang pinaka-obvious na tanong dyan, ano ang kinalaman ng simbahan sa human trafficking? Anong kinalaman ng SMNI sa human trafficking? Pinipigilan ba si Jade na umalis ng SMNI? Pinipigilan ba si Admar na umalis ng SMNI? Nasa ng human trafficking dyan? Bakit nyo ipiprease ang assets ng SMNI. Naku, ang aking panawagan naman, sana po yung ating mga alagad ng batas, ng ating mga mahistrado na nagpapatupad ng batas, huwag naman po magpapadala sa tawag ng mga politiko. Alalahanin na po natin at tanggapin na natin na meron talagang ongoing na panunupil sa lahat ng kalaban ng gobyernong ito. At sana po, maging tapat tayo sa sinumpaan nating katungkulan bilang mga abogado na itaguyod ang saligang batas at lahat ng mga batas ng bayan, kasama na po ang Bill of Rights. Kasama na po ang kalayaan ng malayang pananampalataya, ang kalayaan ng malayang pananalita, ang kalayaan ng malayang pag-iisip. At huwag niyo pong kalimutan na wala pong forever. Lilipas din po yan, lalo na sa mga panahon na hirap na ang sambayan ng Pilipino. At darating ang punto, gaya na nangyari ng 2 beses sa ating kasaysayan, maghuhusga rin po ang taong bayan. At kapag kayo po'y nagpaggamit sa mga instrumento ng kadiliman, magkakaroon din po ng araw ng paghuhusga sa inyo. Pasensya na po kayo. I know that normally, ang mga media entities should not use their own space para ilatag ang kanilang mga paninindigan. Pero kung hindi naman po namin gagamitin ang sariling space namin, tikom naman ang lahat ng mainstream media. Paano pa kami magsasalita? Kaya nga po lahat ginagawa. Siguro ngayong na-freeze ang asset ng SMNI, tuluyan ang mawawala imbed sa internet ng SMNI. Pero ang aking pangako po sa inyo, miski laptop na lang ang broadcast ng Pulso ng Bayan, magtutuloy po kami. Hindi po kami magpapasupil. Sa lahat po ng programa, miski laptop na lang po, tuloy po kami. Dahil kinakailangan po, meron namang boses ang sambayan ng Pilipino, hindi kami magpapasupil. Pasensya na po.
Well, kaya nga po dapat man lang, sana yung notice ibinigay na sa atin. At hindi ko alam kung nabigyan tayo ng pagkakataon na madinig. Pero alam nyo, no, hindi naman po permanente yan. Napansin ko na 20 days nga lang ang freeze. So may dahilan din ang mga mahistrado na bakit 20 days lang. Kasi siguro, meron din silang nais malaman, no? Pinagbibigil lang ang gobyerno. Kung talagang merong ididispalko, di umano, mapigilan in 20 days. Kasi hanggang 6 months ang kapangyarihan ng CA na magbigay ng freeze. So at least, nakikita ko, napatas din naman ng Court of Appeals. Dahil pag wala kang ebidensyang napakita within 20 days, po pwedeng ma-unfreeze yan. At meron namang proseso at hinihikayat ko mga abogado ng SMNI, ng abogado ng KOJC. Hindi na bali yung pastor okay? Pero wala namang ari-arian si pastor talaga Yan ang pagkakaalam ko, lahat ari-arian ng KOJC. Yes. Pero sa akin, as a matter of principle, yung simbahan, if-freeze mo, yung pananampalataya, if-freeze mo, yung media entity, if-freeze mo, hindi tama. Kinakailangan mag-file ka agad ng isang motion para ma-unfreeze dahil hindi po makatarungan yan. Yan po ay magre-resulta sa pagsusupil ng mga karapatang napaka-importante sa isang demokrasya sa panahon na nasupil na nga po lahat ng kritisismo sa administrasyon nito. I'm sure magpapatawag din ng pagpupulong ng mga abogado ang KOJC at SMNI at dadalo po ako. Miski ako'y nasa Davao. So, siguro by Zoom ako'y makikisali, no? Pero hindi po pwede na pabayaan itong ganito.
Yung nakakatakot din, attorney, baka itong ginawa nila sa SMNI, sa KOJC, kay Pastor Kibuloy, ay posible din, na gawin nila doon sa iba pang mga kaalyado ng Duterte.
Well, ginagawa na nga nila sa akin yan. Sinasabi ko sa inyo, itagaan nyo sa bato. Ililink ako niyan sa isang malaking krimen na non-bailable para ako'y mapatahimik. Hindi po. Patayin nyo na lang ako. Hindi po ako mananahimik. Dahil ako po, mahal ko ang Pilipinas. At mula po ako'y bata, ako po'y nagsasalita na kung sa tingin ko, ang gobyerno ay hindi tumutugon sa pangangailangan ng sambayan ng Pilipinas.
We have been sued both in our official and private capacity for undertaking actions such as conducting bank inquiries and freezing bank accounts. In one case, we have been deprived of legal representation from the OSG, and so we face the disastrous consequence of paying for our own legal defense. But we are undeterred. We assure you that we will dispense our duty without fear or favor. However, money laundering investigation and subsequent filing of money laundering cases are only remedial measures to protect the integrity of the financial system and to ensure that the Philippines shall not be used as a money laundering site for the proceeds of crime. Money laundering could also be prevented by instituting preventive measures by having the right and appropriate legal and institutional framework, such as the inclusion of all financial institutions and the designated non-financial businesses and professions as covered persons, and requiring such institutions to have money laundering preventive programs in place, including the casinos. The AMLA was amended a number of times to strengthen the same and address the legal deficiencies of the Philippines, and consequently comply with the relevant UN conventions and international standards on combating money laundering and terrorism financing by the Financial Action Task Force, or FATF, an international body which monitors the compliance of countries or jurisdictions with the said AML CFT standards. The AMLA was amended by Republic Act numbers 9194 in 2003, 10,267 in 2012, and 10,365 in 2013. The law was indeed strengthened as the application for bank inquiry can now be done ex parte. The definition of money laundering has been expanded and is now in accordance with the relevant UN conventions and FATF recommendations. Additional crimes or offenses have been included as predicate crimes to money laundering, and some of the so-called designated non-financial businesses and professions are now considered as covered persons or reporting persons and entities under the Anti-Money Laundering Act. Despite these huge efforts to improve the system, there still remain strategic deficiencies which make the Philippines vulnerable to the risk of money laundering. The latest bills to amend the AMLA, which were the basis of the enactment of Republic Act number 10,365, include some items or provisions which unfortunately were excluded. These refer to the inclusion of casinos and real estate agents and brokers as covered persons, and tax evasion as predicate crime to money laundering. As you may note, the Philippines was included by the FATF in its list of monitored jurisdictions in 2010 because of some deficiencies identified in its anti-money laundering and combating the financing terrorism regime. A majority of these deficiencies were addressed by Republic Act numbers 10,167 and 10,365. Thus, the FATF, in its plenary meeting in June 2013, decided to remove the Philippines from its list of monitored jurisdictions, with a caveat, however, to address the non-inclusion of casinos in the coverage of the anti-money laundering law. That was in 2013. Insofar as the case subject of this investigation is concerned, we assure this committee and the public that the AMLC has been on top of this investigation from the moment the matter came to its knowledge. The AMLC immediately started its investigation to identify and track down the transactions involved in the unauthorized fund transfers involving US $81 million belonging to the Bangladesh Bank, and to identify the persons and entities responsible therefore. We assure you that the AMLC will continue with its investigation, and we will not leave a stone unturned until we get to the bottom of things and find the truth. In this particular case, we will send a message to the global AML-CFT community that the Philippines will not allow itself to be a haven for laundering criminal proceeds. Now we are faced with these questions, Your Honors. Is the inclusion of casinos or casino operators necessary in our Philippine AML-CFT regime? Mr. Chairman, the thing speaks for itself. The lessons we learned from this recent episode is unmistakable. We have to put more teeth in our laws so that we can stop criminal elements from exploiting the deficiencies in our existing laws. There are gaping holes in our laws. We have to include casinos as covered entities. Maraming salamat po, Mr.
All right.
Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Dook. At this point, we'd like to acknowledge the presence of Senator Coco Pimentel. Good afternoon, sir. And Senator Sonny Angara. Good afternoon, sir. Also, the arrival of Mr. Reynaldo Bantug, Chair, President, CEO of Leisure and Resorts World Corporation. Good afternoon, sir. We will begin by asking the Executive Director of the AMLC to narrate what happened. First, we have to establish what happened. Then after that, we will allow the senators to ask questions in the order of their appearance. Of course, after me, the chairman of the Committee on Banks will ask questions, Senator Osmeña, and then the rest will follow in the order of their arrival. Okay, Ms. Julia Bakay Abad. Basically, what happened? What happened was some hackers from somewhere hacked the Central Bank of Bangladesh funds lodged in New York, and they were sent to RCBC, and from RCBC they were transferred via PhilRem to several accounts, several casinos. That's the general flow. Please fill in the blanks. Please correct me if there are any. Ma'am, you have the floor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, the AMLAC first learned about this thing on February 11, 2016. It was a Thursday, when the governor of the Central Bank of Bangladesh called our own governor, Amando Titanco Jr., seeking assistance to trace and possibly freeze the funds that have been stolen from the bank of from Bangladesh Bank. Upon receiving such call from the governor of the Bangladesh Bank, we immediately got in touch with the concerned bank, which is the Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation, and then we verified our own database if ever there were transactions that happened pertaining to this, to said stolen funds. So we immediately conducted our own initial investigation. And our initial investigation revealed, Your Honor, that indeed remittances were made from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York pertaining to the account of Bangladesh Bank, and these remittances were made in favor of 4 bank accounts that are maintained in Rizal Commercial Bank Corporation, Jupiter branch. The beneficiaries of the remittances, we found out, Your Honor, were a certain Michael Francisco Cruz, a certain Jesse Christopher Lagrosas, a certain Alfred Santos Vergara, and a certain Enrico Teodoro Vasquez. Based on our initial investigation, Your Honor, we found out that as far as Mr. Michael Francis Cruz is concerned, a remittance was made to his account in the amount of $6,029,000.12 US dollars. As far as Mr. Jesse Christopher Lagrosas, a remittance in the amount of $30,028.79 US dollars was made to his account. We found out also that as far as a certain Alfred Santos Vergara, a remittance in the amount of $19,999,990 US dollars was made to his account. And as far as a certain Enrico Teodoro Vasquez is concerned, we found out that a remittance in the amount of $25,001,573.88 US dollars was made to his account, or a total of around 81 million US dollars have been remitted to all the said four accounts. Our initial investigation further revealed, Your Honors, that all the said four bank accounts were opened on May 15, 2015 at RCBC Jupiter branch. We found out that from the time the accounts were opened on May 15, 2015, there were no transactions made in the said accounts except on the dates when the said remittances were made on February 5, 2016. We also found out in our initial investigation, Your Honor, that immediately after the remittances were made to the said four accounts, the funds were immediately withdrawn and subsequently transferred to another account in the same bank under the name of a certain William So-Go. Our initial investigation on the account of Mr. William So-Go showed that the said account of Mr. William So-Go was opened only on February 1, 2016, or just a few days before the remittances were made to the said four account holders. Then our investigation further showed that after the funds were transferred to the account of Mr. William So-Go, the same were transferred and exchanged from US dollars to Philippine pesos through a remittance company and a foreign exchange dealer by the name of Pbbm, which has also an account with RCBC, Green Hills. Based on our confidential report, Your Honor, when the said Mr. William So-Go converted the US dollars to Philippine pesos, he represented to Pbbm that he wanted to take advantage of the influx of Chinese casino players and junkets. That's why he was changing US dollars to Philippine pesos. We also learned, Your Honor, that upon the instructions of the said Mr. William So-Go, the Pbbm made the following transactions. Interbank fund transfers were made to the account of Soler or Bloomberry and Hotels Incorporated in the amount of 29 million US dollars. Also, it appears that an interbank fund transfers were made in favor of Eastern Hawaii Leisure Company in the amount of 21,245,500 US dollars. And also, we learned that Pbbm made cash deliveries, several instances, to a certain Wei Kang Zhu. These were cash deliveries, Your Honor, amounting to around 30,639,141.63 US dollars, Your Honor. We learned that Eastern Hawaii Leisure Company is a casino operating at CESA, and one of the signatories to the account is a certain Kam Sin Wong. And we also learned that Century Text Trading is the business name of Mr. William Sogo. After gathering such information, Your Honor, the AMLAC Secretariat was authorized by the Council to file petition for freeze order and application for bank inquiry with the Court of Appeals. So that on February 29, 2016, a petition for freeze order was filed with the Court of Appeals against the bank accounts of Mr. Michael Francisco Cruz, Mr. Jesse Christopher Lagrosas, Mr. Alfredo Santos Vergara, Mr. Enrico Teodoro Vasquez, Mr. William Sogo, Century Text Trading, Eastern Hawaii Leisure Company, and Mr. Kam Sin Wong. And a day after the petition for freeze order was filed, the Court of Appeals issued a freeze order against the said accounts. Also, upon authority by the Council, Your Honor, the AMLAC Secretariat filed an ex parte application for bank inquiry to authorize us to conduct inquiry in all the said bank accounts. At the moment, Your Honor, we are completing our investigation into the matter, and we assured this committee and the public that we are doing our best to find out the truth and to bring justice where it is due. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you very much. The chair will now ask questions. I'd like to refer my questions first to the branch manager, ma'am, Ms. Maia Santos de Guito. The accounts of the 4 holders, ma'am, were established in May 2015 with an opening account of $500. No movement at all. And then on February 5, thereabouts, biglang pumasok, 6 million, 30 million, all in US dollars, 19 million, and 25 million. Did this not raise an alarm to you?
Sir, sorry, but I would like to invoke my right to self-incrimination, and I will answer that in an executive session.
You will answer that in an executive session. Did you not make, when they opened the accounts, these 4 holders, you signed the account, the account opening forms, am I correct?
Sir, we will just make the same request po.
No, but I'm just asking if you signed it, the accounts, the account documents when you opened. No, lawyers are not, counsels are not allowed to speak. Counsels can only give advice.
We already expressed our intention in a letter sent to the chairman, to the honorable chairman.
Sir, we already expressed our intention to the honorable chairman.
All right. The account holders, were found to have fake addresses. The account holders' identification documents, for example, the LTO driver's license cards, were found to be fake, as reported by AMLA after they verified with the Land Transportation Office. Were you not able to do due diligence in accordance with the AMLA principle of know your customer? when these accounts were opened?